In the key of G, how does this chord function? Here's what's written from low to high. And then together you get this sound. Okay, so what do we have here? From low to high, the notes written are C, G, B. Then on top, we have an E. To figure out the chord, what we're going to do is take these letter names and rearrange them into stacked ascending thirds. What that means is you take the notes of the musical alphabet and you skip every other letter name. That's how you stack ascending thirds. So we could label E as the root, B as the root, G as the root, or C as the root of the chord. And the best option to get all of the chord tones into stacked ascending thirds is to label C as the root, because a third above C is an E, a third above E is a G, and a third above G is a B. And now we have all of the chord tones here. If you start with any of the other letter names as the root, you're going to have to do something funny with one of the notes. For example, if you labeled B as the root, it would be B, D, F, and then third above F would be an A. We don't have any of those notes except for the B. One option here would be labeling E as the root. It would be E, G, B, but then, and you have all of those notes, but then after B, you'd have to have some kind of D, and you don't. You have a C, so you have to do something kind of funny with the C. It's going to be some type of sixth. So the best choice here is to label C as the root, okay? And then in order to figure out the quality of the chord, you have to look at the intervals between the notes. C up to E is a major third, it's 4 half steps. E up to G is a minor third, it's 3 half steps. Major third plus a minor third, that is the recipe for a major chord. So the chord written here is a C chord or a C major chord. And we do have a seventh in the chord, so this is some type of C7 chord. And it happens to be a C major 7 because the B is a major 7th above the root. So the answer here for the chord is C MAJ, or major 7, okay? And then finally back to the question, how would it function in the key of G? You have to think of your G major scale and figure out where the note C lands. And in the key of G, the note C is the 4th scale degree. So what I'll put here is that this is the 4 chord. I'll put a big old Roman numeral 4. That would be how the chord functions in the key of G. It functions as the 4 chord. Hope that makes sense. I'll see you next time.